Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us on my green card story. I'm so excited today. So, as you know, we usually like to interview our past clients, those that have successfully obtained the United States green card. In today's episode, I'll be interviewing someone special that recently got his green card. He's a security expert, and he will be sharing his experience with us. I know so many people have been reaching out to me to interview someone in the tech space. So if you are in the tech space, please, this episode is a must watch for you. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like this video and drop your comment in the comment section. And you can reach out to us through our website, www.mygreencardstory.com. So I would like my client to introduce himself, Mr. Dotun. Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome to my channel. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Dotun. Like you said, I work as a cybersecurity. I would say expert. I think expert is like being extremely nice, but I work as a cybersecurity engineer, better still application security, and I've been doing that for going to 5 years now. Started off as a software engineer, did that for like a year and a half, and then transitioned into application security. So, um, in that space, my day to day is basically just making sure all the applications within the company I work for are secured. I do penetration testing, threat modeling, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Dotun. So
Absolutely.
I didn't want today's video to be lengthy, so I'll go straight to the point. So we are here to talk about EB2-NIW, obviously. So
Mhm.
can you tell me the first time you heard about EB2-NIW, and was it the whole thing, did it make sense to you, or did you struggle to understand it? The reason why I'm asking this question is because so many people have heard about EB2-NIW, but they're still trying to understand what it's about and the entire process.
Right.
So what was your experience when the first time you first heard about it?
Yeah, I feel like that's an interesting question, right? So, I first got into the country, I think like 2016, went back home and then came back on F1 in 2018. So on the flight to the US, the person sitting right next to me was coming for a PhD as well. And then that was when she mentioned NIW, literally just telling me, hey, irrespective of what any program you're going for, I think the fastest way to get to get your green card is through NIW. On getting to the US though, like priorities were like, of course, everybody wants a green card, but you have to think about how to, pay your tuition, how to pay your rent, how to, even if you come in with a lot of money, you're still
Yeah.
gonna exhaust it. So I did a bit of research about NIW and it sounded like, you needed to have a PhD, you needed to have like all sorts of stuffs, right? For you to qualify for that. So pretty much like I heard about it first in 2018, but yeah, to me then the requirements sounded like the requirements was a lot. So I kind of like took the back step.
Okay. So when did you decide to pursue EB2 and NIW?
Yeah, so one of the first things I thought of a good way to get my green card was having an NGO, right? Of course, having an NGO, I spoke to like a couple of guys for us to do that. But like I said, everybody's priority was just how to survive then and all that good stuff. So I think like 2021, which is a very funny story, right? Somebody told me about this lawyer guy on NIW. I told him everything I've done. I reached out to him, made some payments, and like in a year, I didn't hear back from him. Like the guy literally ghosted us, myself and a friend. So of course, like I think 22, somebody introduced me to Bobola, right? And then we started talking, and I think that was there about we started the process. So I'll say mid late 22, 2022.
Okay. Wow, that was great. So what made you think you qualify to file for EB2 NNW? Because as at that time,
Mm-hmm.
The information out there was that, oh, EB2-NIW is for those with PhDs, you must have published 5 or 7 peer review papers with a lot of citations
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So, what made you think you were eligible and you stand a chance to get your petition approved?
Yeah, I think, let me think about it. So, couple of things, right? Prior coming to the US, I've had some experience, right? And then coupled with some kind of like projects that I did while I was doing my masters that um actually three of them which were very, very, very relevant, not just to myself, but to the purpose of which the project was established, right? And then I think like the first conversation you and I had, you kind of like stated it clear that okay, um, the work you've done is quite impressive, and I think you have enough material. Because I remember when we are having this conversation, you would ask me questions, and I'd be like, I don't think it really counts. And then when I mentioned it, you'd be like, oh, that's something I really think you should bring out because like those are the things they're looking for. And I also remember like there were conversations around the executive orders that were signed around the cybersecurity space, the software development space, supply chain, and I think in every of these executive orders, I had relevant work that was related to each of that, and I checked the box. So I felt like, okay, I think I should give this a shot, and that was when we started the process.
Okay, great. So, what endeavor did you propose? Because there are so many people out there that in the tech space and your space, they are trying to figure out what their proposed endeavor should be on. Should it be like a continuation of their work experience, or should it be a distinct endeavor? So, can you, in a nutshell, can you tell us your proposed endeavor?
So wait, hold on. When you say distinct endeavor, like, what do you mean?
You know, most people, when they're writing their petition cover letter, so now we're trying to talk about your petition cover letter.
Yeah.
You just said, "Oh, I intend to continue my work." Then they
Mm,
just say, "Oh, I work with so and so company. This is what I do," and they just list the tasks that they do for
right,
their
right, right. Oh,
company.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What was that the path that you took, or was it different? And
I would say it's a mix of the two, right? So, like I said earlier, I work in the application security space. So, in the proposed endeavor write up, what I basically stated was what I've done and how the country or how the government will benefit from that,
mm,
right? And if, of course, they grant me a green card, how I would continue to contribute to public knowledge or research knowledge. And I also stated certain things that I've worked on that I've made open source, like snippets of codes, right? That, I'll give you a very, very short example is I think like some arm of the government, right, as they did this publication where they said business email compromise cost the US government, for example, like just an example, not verbatim, right?
yeah,
Maybe like 2 point something $billion every year. And I basically I developed this application way back that it basically helps you hide confidential messages inside maybe like images, maybe PNG, JPEG, whatever. So a line will go something, or a line went something like, um, as part of my contribution, this is the snippet of the code. And if this is adopted, this can help reduce this business email compromise by maybe 20% or 30%. And going forward, my work in ABC would also help, prevent attacks like that. So in a way, it's helping the American population as a whole prevent like business email compromise. But also what it's doing is people can also learn from this because part of the things I stated to is I do some form of awareness as well on
okay.
security issues.
And how were you able to show that that purpose endeavor had substantial merit and national importance? But that's an area where a lot of potential applicants struggle with.
Mm. So the first one is, of course, like I mentioned, like listing the executive orders and then tying my work to it, right?
Mm,
Part of the evidence, of course, is I printed. Okay, so in the job market, right, you have like a couple of recruiters even reach out to you right? Saying, hey, you have outstanding skills, you have this, you have that. I want you to come work for us. Those are like some of the things that I printed as well that due to my skills within a year or what have you, that have headhunters that have reached out to me and I listed, with print, like I printed some of this stuff for everybody to see. The other thing is um, snippet of code that I said, right? I have like one or two applications that it's like publicly available that I've contributed to that I give reference to just in case they want to confirm. It's like on Play Store, like Google Play Store, and it's on iOS store as well, Apple store. So those are like the ways I just kind of like gave evidence and made it stand out.
Okay, so the next question is about well positioned, but you have given examples of some of the supporting documents that you
Yeah, yeah,
attached to your petition or cover letter.
right.
So what I want to talk about is your
Mhm.
certifications. What was the role of your certifications in applying for EB2-NIW? No, typically in fields like medicine, pharmacy, and law, they have license, right?
Yeah,
But in tech, you guys don't have license. So how were you able to show that those certifications that you had, maybe CAMTA, TA plus, or are actually licenses? Because one must first establish that those certifications are licenses.
all right. So I think like if you think about it, having certifications or licenses will probably show that you have the technical know-how in your space, right? And it kind of like, put you in front of the right person. Now, if it puts you in front of the right person, you just need to go in and, do the justification yourself, depending on how you speak. But also there is, I'm not sure if it's from CISA, but there's also one of these agencies that said for you to qualify as maybe like a cybersecurity engineer or even in the cybersecurity space, you need to have at least maybe like three certifications, right? So they listed CISSP, CISA, CompTIA, and I don't know, some other stuff like that. But all in all, I think I have um, maybe like five or six certs, like the AWS practitioner, the AWS Security Plus. Of course, I think I stated that my CISSP was in view. I had something from Pen Tester Badge, which is to show that you're a certified pen tester, stroke like ethical hacker, or you do some hacking activities. Of course, CISA for IT auditing, um, CompTIA Plus that I had like way back. I had a bit of like project management certifications and licenses as well. I have like database security or MTA as well. I have a couple, right? So I listed all these things, and that's not to include trainings that you've done. Maybe you did training on maybe like LinkedIn, and you get like certification of attendance. I added all those things. So when I put all these things together, I think I literally had maybe close to 22, right? Plus licenses. I had like 22 under certification and training. So I think that was another way I was able to prove that, okay,
Okay.
I'm an expert in it.
Okay, so I will ask you one more question about the well position. So
Mhm.
one thing I found out about people in the tech space is that usually or typically they don't work on a thesis-based masters, so they don't have peer review publications, they don't have citation, they don't have a research grant, but they have certifications. So what is, I know you have spoken a little bit about it at the beginning of this interview, or what is like the role of work experience? How can they show that that work experience did not only benefit the employer, but it has broader implications? Because one thing is anytime an adjudicating officer reads the petition and the person is talking about their work experience,
Mhm.
if person gets an RFE, in that RFE, the USS officer will say, "Oh, your work experience has only benefited your employer. You
Mhm.
were paid for it. It didn't. There's no broader implications. But how
Yeah.
can someone in your field that has valuable work experience, how can they show that what they have done so far is beyond their employer?
Absolutely. I think I have like good examples to that. So when you're writing these things, or let me personalize. When I was writing, when I was putting these statements forward, of course with your contribution as well. I don't think I was thinking about my previous employers or maybe my current employers, but instead I was thinking about like how the country would benefit or the end users, right? So the most important thing is, for example, if you're working in the software space, the most important thing is you are developing secure applications, right? That can help or can reduce things like, some kind of like malicious attacks that would make US citizens lose their money. And indirectly, depending on how it happens, then insurance comes in. Insurance would have to like cough out more money as well. And if you look at all these things lined up, there's a way it's kind of like transcends to like the government too, right? Also, if you're looking at secured applications too, there's every possibility that your company might, if you're not building a secure application, right, it might lead to maybe, for example, data loss. And if that happens, then your company will have to pay a fine, and then the fine is going to the government, and then it comes to taxes and all that stuff. But now, if you're looking at the application security part of things, right, even a day-to-day basis is just me making sure like any application we're putting out there or anything I'm even like threat modeling, I'm making sure it's secure, right? And that is me preventing the US people, which are end users, from getting compromised. Now, compromise can come from within the US, and I think it's even worse if it comes from outside the US, right? So in that way, you're saving the people themselves, but you're also like helping the government help the people, right? By delivering secure applications. Um, if you're in the software space or even in the tech space, and probably you don't even on like medical field where you can, have research papers or whatever. I think one other thing you can do is you write codes every day. You have like side projects you work on that you push to GitHub. If you have people comment on it or you have people like it, or you have people, give you, I don't remember what that batch is called, you can actually like print that and submit that, which is a sign of authenticity and, people are like certifying your work. So those are like some of the things I explored. And I think I also mentioned like headhunters reaching out to you, like companies are running after you. So you can literally say you're sought after and, everybody wants to tap in your experience and all that good stuff.
Okay. So the last part of the cover letter is the on the balance, the benefit the US with the job offer and labor certificate. And one of the things that USS want people to address under that section is even if there are American workers available, that the person's expertise and proposal will benefit the US. Can you
Mhm.
tell us just one benefit that you discussed? I don't know if you can still remember. Your cover letter that this
Yeah.
is how my expertise will benefit the US.
Yeah, I think I touched base on that, right? And everything was just around like me talking about like my cybersecurity experience and some interesting things that I've done in the past. So um not to go into too much details,
Yeah.
but there was a particular project I worked on that was sponsored by one arm of the government when I was in school, right? And these are things that would help the government in terms of like defense, warfare, and all that kind of stuff, right? So I
Yeah.
explicitly stated that, okay, based on my experience on this, this is what the government will benefit from A, B, C. And also going forward, considering the work that I've been doing within and outside, that I would continue to contribute to the pool of knowledge and to articles and create awareness, in the tech space.
Okay, great. Awesome. Awesome. So now let's talk about the timeline. When did you turn in your I-140 and when did you hear back from USIS? And when you heard back from them, what was the feedback? Was it an approval or an RFE?
Yeah, so I'm really, really bad with dates, right? But
Just an approximate date.
yeah, I'm really bad
Month,
with dates,
month
but
and year.
I'll give you. So I remember very well that our priority date was around February,
Hmm.
right? So I turned that in February, and I remember we had like I think they reached out, of course they'll send receipt, and I think receipt go back within like maybe 2-3 weeks.
So was that February 2023?
Yeah, that was 23. Yeah, that
Okay.
was 23. We got the receipt, and then we had to wait for a priority date. And when it was a priority date, I think that was around September 23, if I'm not
So
mistaken.
when was it approved? Your I-140? It was approved in
Your
2023.
I-140 got approved in 30 days.
30 days? I can't even remember.
Yeah, it was 30 days. I remember very
Wow. So
well.
that means by March 2023 it was approved.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah,
approved.
I can't even.
So I got
Okay.
that approval, and I was like, okay, well, chilling.
Doctor, I'm sorry. People filing out, they can't relate.
Oh,
By
wait.
the way, let me say this out. Dotun did not file for premium processing.
Yeah, I
This
didn't.
it was not normal processing, so it's 30 days. That was really, really fast. Okay, okay. That's awesome. So I think the next part of this conversation will happen in part two. So for
Mhm.
those watching us, thank you so much for joining us for part one. Please make sure you watch the part two of this, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. Bye.